Hey guys, welcome back to the Ducks and Dogs podcast. My name is Mike here with my co-host Matt once again, and this is episode 13 of the Ducks and Dogs podcast. Washington finally got a win, Matt.
Got a W, man.
3 weeks for that 11-1 season to start.
Three weeks too long. Hey, we could still go 9-3. All right, we're on pace, man. We're on pace. Hey, all I gotta say is that offense looked actually okay against Arkansas State, which I thought was going to be a pretty respectable opponent. Clearly, they let me down a little bit. Thought that game was going to be a lot closer. Honestly, but the offense actually showed up. I'm not going to say what I thought on that game because
you thought you would lose. Don't lie.
I wasn't feeling good about it. I'll say that. I was not feeling good about it. So, but yeah, another week for Oregon. Another win against Stony Brook. Big surprise there. Did we get any insight onto what happened with Coach Cristobal and the Stony Brook head coach?
Did you lip read what he said?
No, I didn't.
He said, "You talk a lot of shit and I'll whoop your fucking ass."
Wow.
Dude, I was like, yo, Mario.
That's awesome.
Pop off, bro. I love that energy, bro. I was like, hell yeah,
that's
dude.
Dope.
That's the type of shit that gets me fired up. He said, bro, that shit was so funny, bro.
Because I saw that they were getting heated. I was like, well, because Stony Brook had they have
Mario
a targeting
kind of
call.
swole for 51 years old.
Yeah, he doesn't look too bad. He doesn't look terrible.
They hit a few of our players late multiple times throughout the game.
Okay. I kind of figured something like that happened. I didn't look too much into it because I figured it's just some dumb
cheap shots, man. When you're getting blown out, cheap shots come out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I will, dog, Mario was heated. He was 38 hot. Like Mario from South Florida too. He was ready to throw them dukes. He was ready to go to war with that shit, bro. Mario was ready, man. He was with the shits for that one. Oh
That's
boy,
too funny.
Oh boy, Stony Brook didn't want no problems. You see what he said after the game? He was all like acting like nothing bad happened or nothing. I was like, yeah, okay, buddy.
All right, guy. All right,
my man. Speaking of the game against Stony Brook, Anthony Brown got a little hurt in that game. He got dinged up. He's supposed to be okay to start this week, but we did get to see some of Ty Thompson and Jay Butterfield in the game against Stony Brook.
We did. It was fun to see. Was that a bad throw by Ty Thompson, the one on Twitter everybody's been talking about?
I don't think that was a bad throw. So just to break down the X's and O's of it, basically what's going on is these guys are playing a little higher of a zone, and he's got to throw it to his wide receiver's open in a spot. It's a soft spot of the zone. He's hitting his wide receiver there. Now, he doesn't know the moves that the DBs are making at the time they're making them. He just knows he's got a guy here. They're running zone. I have this gap in the zone, in the soft spot of the zone. He's going to hit that. If he throws that ball too far upfield, that DB could make a play on it. If he throws it too far underneath, the guy playing the flat could make a play on it. So, I mean, he could he have, made it a little, like a couple, maybe a foot different spotting and gave him a running start for it? Sure. But was that a bad throw? No. Was that a bad read? Definitely not. That was a great read.
Yeah, it was a perfect read. I think you could have let him upfield, like you said, a foot or two, but
you lead it too far, the DB's gonna make a play.
Yeah, you lead it too far. The other receivers, a few, like, I don't know if it was a few, it was like 5 or 10 yards further downfield. That DB, if he reacts fast enough and if his hips aren't flipped, he can make a play on that ball.
Exactly.
So,
they're at the end of the day, these are D1 athletes.
Yeah. You put a ball where they can kind of get to it. They'll usually get to it, especially when they're that wide open. So, yeah.
Exactly. So that wasn't a bad throw. Ty Thompson played a good game. He was 6 for 9. I don't remember how many yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Yeah. Played really solid. Butterfield looked really solid. Neither of them looked like they, didn't belong in the game. It was really interesting to watch how that first half unfolded. Well, I actually didn't get to watch the game, but I also didn't expect it to be that close in the first half like it was. It was really interesting to see how they bounced back from that, though. It was a couple slow starts, and the defense allowed that one drive. Man, that defense allowed one drive, and then I seen everybody on Twitter blowing up about how our defense is trash.
They're freaking out. I follow quite a few Ducks fans on Twitter, and they were blowing up.
First tweet I see is our defense ass. And I'm like, yo, what? And, there's some Husky fans who are saying Oregon's defense is ass. And I'm like, huh?
Well, they are, but I mean, I'm a homer. I'm supposed to have that take.
at the same time, it's like, yeah, they've allowed this many yards per game. Jake Haener is a fucking Heisman candidate, and Ohio State is Ohio State.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jake Haener, did you see him against UCLA?
Holy cow, dude.
That's not even on UCLA.
Dog.
That wasn't a bad game by UCLA.
That was
Jake Haener
Heisman moment right there, bro. He looked amazing.
He is that. And then he went to the hospital before the game was over.
Yeah.
That man is something special.
I am very excited to see that Fresno State team the rest of the year, and it gives some more context for how well Oregon's playing, like how good that team is. I think people don't realize how good that Fresno State team is this year.
Yeah, I don't think that was a terrible loss for UCLA, but because it's a group of 5 team, it's going to be like, oh yeah, another Pac-12 team losing to a group of 5 team. Fresno's a good team.
They are no pushover. They're in the top 25, not just like media polls, like they are in the AP poll. Like they're in it. Like
they're in our top 25, the most important one. Woo!
True. Shout out fifth quarter top 25. This media poll.
Did you put them in your top 25?
I did. I put them at 21.
21. So
yeah.
Now, if I was basing my rankings purely on who I personally think the best teams are, like just straight up, I think Fresno's the best group of 5 team. I think they're better than Cincinnati. I think they're better than Coastal Carolina. I think they're better than BYU.
You could sell me on Coastal and BYU. I don't know about Cincinnati.
Really? I think you could go through my timeline. I fucking hate BYU. I think BYU is better than Cincinnati too this year.
You're a Pac-12 fan, of course you hate BYU.
I hate BYU because of their fans. I don't care about like everything else. I mean, the rest of the Pac-12 and Oregon, think of teams differently. We're kind of built.
Okay, whatever. Wow. All right.
But no,
we're just built different. Yeah. Okay.
It means more.
It means more.
No, but yeah, I actually think both BYU and Fresno are better than Cincinnati.
Really?
Just Cincinnati had that spot preseason, and they were really good in 2019 and 2020.
Yeah.
But they're not what they were supposed to be this year. You really mean to tell me that Jake Haener wouldn't go in there and beat Cincinnati?
I don't think I could confidently say that they would.
Oh,
I don't think I could even say non-confidently that they would. I'm a big Cincinnati truther. I got to be honest.
Man, I think Fresno would win that game by 2 scores.
I think it'd be close. I'll give you that. I think it would be a pretty close game. But
I think Fresno wins it by at least 2 scores.
Really? That is a hot take. Holy cow.
Fresno State has probably a top 10 wide receiver room. They have arguably, you could argue one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
I thought you were going to say the. No, you're going to say the best. I was like, oh, Mike, be careful what you say. This is on recording here, bro.
Bryce Young kind of nasty, and Jackson Dart looked really good too.
Yeah.
But no, and then they have a really good running back. I mean, they have a veteran offensive line. Like, I'm hard pressed to see teams that Fresno's not beating outside of the Alabama, Oregon, Georgia, which I think even as a Washington fan, would you agree that they're like the elite teams in college football are Alabama, Oregon, Georgia, and then we don't know?
As of right now,
from what we've seen, yeah.
From what we've seen,
it could obviously change.
Did you say Alabama, Georgia, Oregon?
Yep, that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
I'd probably throw Iowa into that group. I would.
You trust them?
Also, I do.
I don't.
I do.
Mainly because they're in the state of Iowa.
I think whoever wins Penn State, Iowa is that team this year. I think that whoever
you forget they still got to play Ohio State. Like
I think both of those teams are better than Ohio State. I do. I've not been impressed by Ohio State this year. I haven't. I really have not.
And you've been that much more impressed by Iowa beating Wisconsin?
Yes. And
Iowa State.
And killing Indiana, who, by the way, is still a decent football team.
Indiana's a decent football team, but they're a decent football team who gets blown out by great teams every year.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd still take right now, if I had to bet, I would take Iowa and Penn State over Ohio State.
I would take Ohio State and give the other teams points in that game. But, we follow Pac-12 more than anything.
Yeah, true. We don't care about the Big Ten. And
we do have 2 games coming up. You guys play Cal. Kryptonite.
The Cal game. Yeah, this ought to be an interesting one because I don't even know. Like, Cal hasn't looked great this season. They really haven't.
Wilcox has y'all's number.
But holy cow, dude, the Cal game every year just gets me nervous. And
There's gonna
even
be a
last year,
thunderstorm.
last year, we didn't even play that game. That game got canceled because of COVID.
And you were
And
glad.
I, that game the past 5 years has made me nervous.
It was like Washington State for us from 2014 or 2010 to
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
Washington State
God,
was
dude.
tough for us for some reason. You know what I think is going to be the most underrated game in the Pac-12 schedule all year?
What?
You're going to laugh, but I don't think this is a joke. Like, I'm being 100% serious. Washington going into Corvallis.
I could actually see that being a surprisingly good game.
Surprising in
people-
the fact that y'all are going to keep up with Oregon State, right?
No, the other way around.
Hot take, Oregon State has the best quarterback in the conference.
Oh, what now?
Best quarterback in the
That
conference.
is a
No,
that
hold
is
on.
a hot
How
take.
high is the bar? Who's the best quarterback in the conference? Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Slovis just lost his job.
He's
Jaden
pretty good.
Daniels
It's
hasn't
like-
looked
Yes.
great. Like, you say, whoa, hold on a minute. Like, that's some crazy statement.
I don't know if I can buy into that.
Have you seen him play?
I saw their first game. I
Did you-
forgot who they played, but I watched their first game. He looked pretty good.
If I'm not mistaken, let me double check before I say something wrong.
He looked pretty good. I don't remember who they played. Let me check.
Let me double check before I say something incorrect.
Actually, they lost to Purdue.
Against Idaho, he
Okay.
went 14 for 9. Okay, y'all played Montana and lost, so I don't want to hear
Okay,
it's
okay,
Idaho.
but Idaho, like,
Okay, but it's Oregon State. 14 for 19 and 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Let's go the week before that against Hawaii. 21 for 29, 302 yards and 2 picks. The week before that, in that loss against
two
Purdue,
touchdown or
10 for 16, 157 yards, no
yeah,
picks.
2 touchdowns. You said 2 picks. You meant 2 touchdowns in
Two
the Hawaii
touchdowns,
game.
no picks.
I think I watched the Hawaii game because that Purdue game, Statlin's okay. I remember him,
but he
scoring a
hasn't
couple
played. He hasn't
touchdowns.
thrown a pick all year,
Mhm.
and he's really good, man. He could really
is
be the
good.
best quarterback in the conference.
Nolan's good. Nolan's
he's-
good. I don't know if you got to give it a few more games. I think you have to see how he plays against USC. I think you have to see how he plays against that Washington secondary before you can really. And I'm not just saying that to be like,
We also
oh,
got to see if
ooga
Dart
booga.
keeps it up.
You do. Yeah. I was going to say, like,
That's-
I'm not just saying that because I'm a UW fan, but like legitimately Washington secondary is one of the best in the conference, if not the country.
So, we're neither of us are USC fans, obviously.
True.
Are you scared of Jackson Dart? Because he kind of
He looked pretty good.
he looked pretty good.
He looked pretty good. And if I'm Slovis, man, holy cow, I am like,
Slovis just got Slovis.
Slovis might have to compete for that job because Dart looked really good. I was on the bus ride home from my game Saturday, and I turned on that my teammate sitting behind me is from SoCal, so like big USC fan, and like he was groaning whatever they're losing to Washington State, and then he's like, "Dude, look at this," and it's like what 35 to 14 or whatever, and I'm like, "How in the world did that happen?" Yeah, this Dart kid, I don't know, like
Out of Utah, man. It's
Yeah.
gotta suck to be a Utah fan. All the Sewell family going to Oregon, and they kept Neffy Sewell, which is a really good player. But
good,
like
man.
Jackson Dart going to USC, Kingsley Sewell Mattia going to Oregon, like
Mhm.
they're not keeping none of that talent. Oh,
Ben Roberts. They didn't even keep Ben Roberts in state.
Ben Roberts. Oh yeah, he's Utah.
Yeah, he's Utah.
Going to Oregon.
Yeah.
That Utah to Oregon pipeline is insane.
Yeah, it would have been
And-
nice to keep that one, but we've been over that.
You know what?
That was
also-
during a dark time.
You know what
So-
also would probably have me really salty? If one of the best quarterbacks in the country left my program, went to a group of 5 program, and balled the fuck out.
Yeah, gotta be honest, we dropped the ball on that one. Holy cow, Haener is making that UW staff
As-
look stupid.
As solid
Right
as I
now.
think Dylan Morris is,
Yeah,
Jake Haener is miles better.
as of right now, 100%.
No,
I
as
mean,
of
even
right now, me
even-
pussy, he is better.
yeah, Dylan Morris, like, yeah, he threw 3 touchdowns, had almost 400 yards passing, but he made questionable throws, threw 2 picks, should have been 3, like against a team that they were beating pretty handily. Also,
A team that
shout out
doesn't play
Sam
defense.
Heward. Shout out Sam Heward. He got in the game 2 for 5, 31 yards. I mean, not Ty Thompson numbers, but he got out there.
But he also
What the
doesn't have
fans
Ty
wanted to see.
Thompson weapons.
Yeah, also true.
As highly as some Husky fans are going to talk about the wide receivers they got in the transfer portal and stuff, they transferred for a reason. Like,
Talking about they
transferred for a reason.
One side note, going off of the receiver room, I'll transition this a little bit. Jalen McMillan finally coming off injury, 175 yards receiving on 10 catches.
He did look pretty solid.
He looked really, really good.
However, I would like to see him against a defense with a pulse.
Fair, but I mean, you can't discredit.
You can play who you play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he looked really good. Really good addition to that receiver room. Kind of sparked some new life into that receiver room that we really haven't seen all year.
It's always been the tight ends, and that's it. Because Rome isn't what
he's still hurt,
and the rest of the wide receiver room, they're not terrible players, but they're not.
Taj Davis also had almost 100 yards receiving. He looked pretty good. Bynum has always been a pretty solid option. Jackson's looked pretty decent. I wouldn't say, world beaters by any means.
McMillan
but there's
looks
talent.
like he had that potential, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And also McGrew, RB1, ? Finally giving him the ball. He scores 2 touchdowns. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Wow.
Put in
what
a
concept.
More talented running back and he scores.
I'll be the first to admit, I'm a big McGrew fan. I've never been outspoken McGrew, he's the guy. Got to go with him. I've been pretty insistent on, that 3-headed
anything.
You're right. But, I'll put my chips in the guys that I think are good and I think are going to develop well. I've been a big fan of that 3-headed monster at running back for Washington. McGrew kind of proved that he might be the dude going forward. And obviously you have the talent in that running back room to rotate still, but he looked good. And that is good for that running back room. That is good for that offense.
Transitioning on that wide receiver point. Did you realize, I didn't realize this until I thought about it. Not a single Oregon receiver has gone over 100 yards yet in a game. Not a single one. And
probably.
What was that?
I was going to say that probably speaks to the depth of that room then. Because they're all getting the ball, I assume. With
how talented of a room you have, you would expect there to be that one game breaker.
Yeah.
Now at the same time, what's his name? Devin Williams. I've seen him open deep many a times, and for whatever reason, the quarterback doesn't throw the ball. Just, maybe he doesn't want to take the risk, or maybe that's not really one of the options on the play call, or depending, whatever the reason. Williams has gotten open deep and hasn't gotten the ball. I'm hoping eventually here, as we enter conference play, that if Williams is open, fuck what the play says. Throw him the fucking ball. That man is good. We saw him last year. He was good.
He was good.
He was insane. And I can't wait to see one of these guys break out. Dante Thornton got that one big play, balled out. Johnny Johnson's always consistent. I mean, one thing of note, it's going to be weird to see next year Oregon have better tight ends than Washington.
Ooh, that'll be the day.
Have you seen our tight ends play? Maliki Matavayo and Terrence Ferguson?
I'm very high on Cade Otton though. So
Cade Otton's really good, but is he going to play?
You're not going to get that out of me. What's up?
Is he going to play a lot as a freshman?
Cade Otton?
Mm-hmm.
You mean Ryan Otton?
Oh yeah. I thought Cade Otton's gone after this year.
He is.
Yeah,
I think
I
misheard you. Oh, you're saying
next year.
Coming in. Okay, yeah. Ryan. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. He's had a pretty good high school season this year. I could very well see him playing. I think it'll matter depending on who sticks around in that room.
Yeah, there's some depth in that room. Obviously, there's not another Cade Otton in that room, but there's some depth there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna do our picks for the week. We didn't really talk about the Oregon Arizona game because we don't really need to talk about the Oregon Arizona game. It's Arizona. They just lost to Northern Arizona, whose backup quarterback is Oregon's former 8th string quarterback, Cale Millen. So we'll start with that game. Score prediction for the Oregon Arizona game. Go.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'll go 52-10.
For which team?
Really? I see no world that Arizona's competitive in this game whatsoever. And usually, you know, you don't want to say stuff like that on the record, but like,
Rumor is Kayvon comes back too.
ooh, yeah, no shot.
Not a ch-
I
Hey,
think 10 points for Arizona is generous
generous.
here.
That
Yeah.
that would require a defensive score, I feel like.
Hmm.
Um,
I agree.
I'd say 52-7.
There you go. That
And
field goal will make a big difference.
you know, people have been harping on how many yards that Oregon's been allowing, not realizing that they're down like 87 million players on defense. And
Hmm.
almost all of them outside of Flo are projected to come back this week or next week.
Yeah.
This defense is going to be really This defense is a whole nother level just when number 5 steps back on the field.
Yeah. I
That
don't think
changes
people realize that.
everything.
It's gonna be crazy.
The pressure rate and the sack rate is so much higher with him on the field.
Mhm.
And it allows us to drop, instead of rushing a Noah Sewell to the gap, you have, Noah Sewell dropping back in coverage. And it's crazy. I never thought I would say this, but I really think Oregon has the 2 best players in the conference. Not just the 1, the 2 best players in the
The
conference.
2. Now that we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Kayvon Thibodeau and Noah Sewell, man. I mean, Noah's been. And why are you playing Verone McKinley?
Fair. He played really well. He's been playing really well.
He's been going
recently.
off. If Flo was healthy, as much as I love Noah and Noah's more fundamentally sound, God, Flo was good in that one game. God, he was good, man. But the only I hate to call it a positive, but the only like bright side of Flo's injury is that when Kayvon's gone, we have Flo, Sewell for at least one more year, and Mace Funa to hold down that defense.
I think for as much as injuries suck, and you never hope that guys get hurt ever on any team, right? It is always a good thing to see how a defense functions without those main pieces, and if they can function. And Oregon's proven that they can function without those pieces.
It definitely feels like a Chip Kelly-esque defense of bend,
I
don't break, allow
I
400
think you're well
yards
off on that defense for the next few seasons.
easily, especially with how we're recruiting. We're probably, as long as we could keep Mario, our program is probably well off for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
there may be one reload year where guys
at
are
the very least competitive.
Exactly.
I would say that's the floor.
These aren't like the post Helfrich teams when the coaching's gone, the talent is only comparable enough to make you bowl game maybe.
Yeah.
Now
and
it's like, okay.
I hate saying that because I don't like Oregon, obviously, but
too much talent.
There's you can't deny it. Like the floor.
And Moorhead is probably one of the best offensive play callers in college football.
He's pretty damn good.
And DeRuiter doesn't look too bad. I mean, the only issue, which it seems to be a big issue with a lot of the big names in college football, Clemson, Ohio State, Oregon, I'm seeing a lot of DBs playing like 8-yard cushions, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really
I don't understand that trend.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not really a defensive guy. Like, I play college football. I'm on the offense. Like, I couldn't tell you the first thing about a lot of the scheme that goes into defense. That's never been me. So I can't really speak from expertise. Yeah, I can't. But
so now we will break into predictions for the Washington Cal game.
Oof. It just all logic in this game the past few years has just gone out the window. Like, you can't, even when the teams are this or this, you can never tell. Like,
do you want to pick first or should I?
I'll pick first.
Go ahead.
I'll go Washington taking the win, and I'll go 28-20.
28-20 Washington.
Yep.
Before I make any predictions, I need to check the weather. I gotta check and make sure there's no rainstorm. Weather in Seattle Saturday. What time is the game?
It's gotta be actually, I don't know. I'm Central Time,
9:30 p.m. Oh, okay. Cal is gonna win 24-21.
It's actually 6:30 p.m. for their time.
Yeah, I'm looking at my times because the weather's in my time. Cal is gonna win 28-31. It's gonna
really
rain. It's gonna rain.
Hmm.
That's
Interesting.
That's according to Washington fans, rain causes them to lose the Cal at home. So by all
If the weather
University of
if
Washington
the weather
logic,
predicts, then so it shall be. The clouds have spoken.
were you on Twitter for that when y'all lost the Cal and everyone's like it was only because it rained and I was like,
No, I wasn't involved in Husky Twitter at that point.
oh my lord! So when that happened, literally, the entire excuse was, well, there was a rain delay.
Why is that? Like, it plays a factor, but it shouldn't be like the
That's
end all
why
be
you
all.
lost,
Like,
because there was a
come
rain
on.
delay. It was so it's gonna rain. So Cal 31, Washington 28. Honestly, because it's raining, I did lower my score prediction. I thought it would be a higher scoring game.
Yeah, I don't know. They're always kind of
They're two defensive-minded teams, but I think that might be why they can score a lot.
Yeah.
So it's been weird lately in college football. When two defensive juggernauts go up together, I expect to see like a 9-6 game, and it's like 42 to 38.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like what in the world? Like, it's super weird.
Like Ohio State and Oregon.
Yeah, college football is just so unpredictable, man. That's what I love about it.
It is. I love it.
You never know what's gonna happen.
And do we have? So what? We're a quarter way through the season.
Yeah.
If you had to make a bet right now, who comes out the South and the North? Who are you making? Washington, obviously. You're gonna say he's coming out in the North.
I'm gonna say Washington's still gonna embrace my homer here.
He's still saying UCLA for the South.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I still am.
I got UCLA for the South, and I think Oregon has no competition in the North.
I don't know, man.
Colorado is in the South.
Looking. Oh crap! Oh my god! Yo, all right. Oh, time out. Record scratch. My brain just stopped working. Oh crapola!
My name's Matt, and you're probably wondering how I got in this situation.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Holy cow! I was looking at Washington's schedule. I was clicking through their schedule, and I saw Colorado. I was gonna say Oregon State is what I meant to say.
Of offense for Colorado.
That's nuts.
They suck.
And they just got pounded by Minnesota, didn't they?
That's 63 total yards of offense.
How in the world are you going to take Texas A&M? And the Texas A&M game just proves to me that they are not as good as people say they are. I've never been high on Texas A&M.
Not any of the past 3 years have I been high on Texas A&M.
Yeah. I think people are like, oh, put them in the playoff. No, they would get scorched worse than Notre Dame, Oklahoma, you name it. Like,
you know what
it'd be worse.
I love when I mention Oregon in the playoffs. People are like, they're just going to get blown out again. I was like, motherfucker, we blew them out. We won. Our semifinal game. We won by 40. I'm sorry, we lost to
the only Pac-12 team to get to the national championship game in the college football playoff era, might I add.
And I'm sorry, we lost to the second most talented team, second to probably either 2019 LSU or 2001 Miami, ever. That Ohio State team was fucking loaded. I'm sorry.
Good. Yeah.
There's nothing we could. And Zeke just made Alabama look foolish, and you thought we were finna, man.
Yeah.
Buckner's good, but he was by him to himself. He needed. He said he's like that Kevin Hart video. He said, "Help me,
help me,
help me,
help me." Yeah.
My favorite picture of all time for Oregon is going to be Defoe pushing the two Washington offensive linemen side to side. Bro, that man was a
help
specimen.
Me. Mm-hmm. That's good.
But do we have any final notes? Do you have any comments you want to make regarding the entire college football landscape? Just that's surprising to you before we end the show?
I just gotta say, I think we should buckle up. This season's kind of shaping up to be a crazy one, I think. And I don't know, I'm not, I didn't look into a crystal ball. I don't know the future. I just get a sneaking suspicion that things are not going to shape up the way they're supposed to.
Is that you saying you think Oregon's going to drop multiple conference games?
No, that's not me saying anything about Oregon. I just my doomsday apocalypse prophecy is that 2007 is upon us. Well, it's going to return.
Keep us at 3.
Yeah, don't get ranked 2. Maybe who knows? Maybe it'll be 3. Maybe it'll be 4. Maybe it'll be 1. Guess we'll find out once conference play starts this week, huh?
We'll see. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, we want to thank you for watching. Sorry for the delay between episodes. We should be back to normal now. Our editor, Mike, really fucking sucks.
That
I
guy
don't know
Mike
who
Black,
he is.
he's
Hey, you're not supposed to say. Don't say my government name
bro. It's literally on your Twitter. What are you talking
Stop
about?
saying my government name on the.
You can't even say my government name, so that's why. You can't even pronounce my government name.
All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all on the next episode. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you next time.
Go Ducks.